Hey folks, it's me, Michael Bach here, Diversity Dude, and it's time for another episode of Monday Morning Musings. And I want to talk about a little dust-up that's been going on between Ontario and British Columbia. Specifically, you may remember an article that came out a couple days, weeks ago, that showed that the city of Victoria in British Columbia had decided to remove a statue of Canada's first Prime Minister, John A. Macdonald, because of its representation and particularly his role in the creation and architecture of residential schools in Canada. For those of you who don't know, first off, you need to Google Residential Schools Canada. But residential schools were set up in the 1840s, and Indigenous children were there where they faced horrible issues of bias and discrimination, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Many were killed, and those schools lasted up until 1996, when the final one was closed. And the whole point of those schools was to essentially integrate Indigenous people into Canadian culture, which was the colonized culture brought over from England. And these schools are largely one of the reasons why the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was set up here in Canada and why we have the 94 recommendations from the TRC. So Minister Sylvia Jones, who's the Minister of Tourism, apparently has contacted the city of Victoria and said that they would happily take the statue of John A. Macdonald to be positioned here in Ontario on a piece of public land because history needs to be preserved. And another MP, Goldie Gamari from Carleton, MPP, excuse me, said that 1867 was a different time. So first off, PC party government, you're looking like total a-holes because you are not paying attention to the importance of reconciliation in this province and in this country. 1867 was a different time. It was a time when our former prime minister, our first prime minister, created a school system that was essentially state-sanctioned genocide. So yeah, it was a different time, and it's not a time we want to go back to. What you don't seem to understand is that the symbol of John A. Macdonald to Indigenous peoples and people who are allies of the Indigenous community, myself included, is not only offensive, but it's triggering. It's holding us back. It's suggesting that somehow we should praise the actions of that man. I'm not saying we should forget history or erase it. We can't do that, but we have to move forward. And I applaud the city of Victoria for doing what they did, for taking down a statue and for putting up a plaque that explains who John A. Macdonald was and why that statue was removed. That's the actions that need to be taken in order to move towards true reconciliation with our Indigenous peoples. And unfortunately, Minister, it's behavior like yours that's holding us back. So I would encourage you to get educated about the importance of Indigenous inclusion, about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and its 94 calls to action, and do better for the citizens of this province. That's it for me. I hope you have a fantastic week. Remember to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link somewhere near my face. And I will see you next week for another episode of Monday Morning Musings.